Hi, I've been getting a few questions about collecting data, actually sending out your surveys, conducting interviews, things like that. So I thought it would be useful to have a conversation with everybody about this. The first thing, the most important thing that I need to stress to you is please do not start collecting any data until you have turned in your next assignment, which is your methods assignment. And that assignment is essentially when you are clearly lining out how you're going to collect data and why you have chosen the methods that you have chosen. And I absolutely need to give you feedback on that assignment before you go ahead and start doing your surveys, interviews, whatever it may happen to be. Now, that being said, if you have a need to start collecting your data soon, you are more than welcome to turn in the methods assignment early. It's not due until April 3rd, but again, turn it in, complete it and turn it in early if you need to start collecting data sooner than that. If this is the case for you, please let me know. Send me a quick email and say I've turned in my methods assignment, just so I know that it's in the Dropbox, and it'll trigger me to give you feedback right away so you can move forward with your assignment. So, number one, most important, don't collect any data until I have read your methods and given you feedback. Sometimes there's just little tweaks and adjustments and things that need to be made in order to help your project be successful. And I want to be able to give you that feedback before you start collecting data. So let's now talk about what that methods assignment actually needs to include. So this week we're in our second week of these chapter reviews. We did our first week before spring break, and we'll have our last week of chapter reviews next week. The intent with these chapter reviews, of course, is to introduce you to various different methods of how you can actually collect your data. Whether it's a survey method or correlation or ethnographic, there's all those different ones that we're studying. The intent is that you will be introduced to 8 different data collection methods, but that you'll start to get ideas on the method or methods that work best for your study, and then you'll look more deeply into those. So you're not required, obviously, to be reading the chapters for all of these methods, but for the one that maybe fits your study the best, do go back and read that specific chapter. Of course, look at the additional resources and things that the groups are posting in class. So the intent of doing these chapter reviews before your methods are due is to be able to give you an idea of what kind of methods you might be utilizing in your own study. So to the assignment itself now, what you actually need to turn in for your next assignment, for your methods. Like I said, this is essentially what you're doing with this, is you are just saying, here is how I'm going to collect my data, and here's why I have made these choices. Please don't forget that why. It's incredibly important to justify why you've made the choices that you've made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the grading criteria for the methods assignment, and this comes straight from the course syllabus, so you don't need to desperately take notes or anything like that. You can refer back to the syllabus for these points, but let me just expand on them a little bit of what you need to write in this assignment. Number one, you need to clearly articulate if you are doing a qualitative or quantitative study and why. That why is very, very important. So you're not just going to say it's quantitative, but it's quantitative because it fits best with my research questions, whatever it may happen to be. If you think back to rather early in the semester, this was a discussion that we had in class, and we discussed in some detail of when and why you would choose qualitative over quantitative. So that's going to be the first thing you need to address in your methods. The second thing you need to address is kind of how permission was gained for you to be able to complete and conduct this study. So for some of you, you need to talk to your employer. Some other people, got permission from a particular group to send out a survey to them, whatever it may be. Give details on that it's okay for you to do this study. The third thing that you need to share, and do not skimp on the detail here, is information on the actual participants in your study. Who they are, why you selected this exact group, how they were selected, how you got permission from the participants for them to be a part of your study, and again, why. Why did you choose all these methods? Why did you make these decisions on the who, the why, the how? Give details on that. Quite honestly, it's really, really hard in the methods section for you to give too many details. The fourth thing that you need to talk about in your methods is what data will be collected. So I'm actually going to collect X, Y, and Z, how you are going to collect it, and again, why you made these choices. You need to actually include your actual data collection tool, your survey, or your interview protocol, whatever it may be. You need to include that in an appendix to this assignment. And then for your final report, that'll be included in an appendix as well. So the actual thing that you're using to collect the data. So those are the major pieces that need to be incorporated in this assignment. A minute or two ago, I mentioned it's really hard to give too much detail in your methods assignment. Essentially, what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to give enough detail in your methods that somebody could read that and they could go and replicate your study. They would know exactly what to do and how to do it, who to survey, who to interview, what data was collected, and they could exactly replicate your study because you have given such good information. And as well, you have justified all of your choices in your methods assignment. So someone could say, yes, I can understand why these are the choices made, and these seem to be the best choices and the best ways to collect the data that needs to be done in order to address this research study. I'm not going to give you a page limit on this. It varies widely depending on what kind of study that you have. But again, just make sure that you address all of those pieces in sufficient detail, and you should be in good shape. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. Do not start collecting data until you have turned those methods into me and gotten feedback from me. If we need to fast track that, not a problem. Just let me know, and I'm happy to do that. So, as always, let me know what other questions come up as you work on this.